Welcome back to Talk of the Town. I'm excited to highlight a unique nonprofit in our area that is helping athletics throughout Wisconsin. We're going to share with you a little bit about why and how. This is Kyle Flanagan and Lance Klinkhammer, and they're with Wisconsin Sports Services. And guys, I'm glad to have you here today.
Great to be here.
Great to be here.
So this is a really unique organization. So share with viewers, if you would, in a nutshell, if that's possible, because there's a lot, what Wisconsin Sports Services does.
So at Wisconsin Sports Services, we host, administer, and program athletic events, tournaments, and even leagues throughout the entire state of Wisconsin, both on a youth setting, but also with some adult leagues as well. Then we also offer educational services for coaches, athletes, wide spectrum of athletic probability.
Just a few things, yeah.
Yep.
Well, Lance, maybe if you could share with us to give folks an idea of what kinds of athletic events you work with.
Sure, yeah. We primarily operate in the world of youth sports. Our primary sports would be baseball and basketball, but we also kind of have this model that we go where we're needed and wanted, which means we're willing to take up any type of sport. So currently we have special events in wrestling, but we're also looking at lacrosse to field hockey. We also have some adult elements in that too, which involves some administrative services for adult slow pitch leagues, volleyball leagues, and the like. So, yeah.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a lot.
That's a lot, but that's wonderful, and some needed sports and needed help. How does Wisconsin Sports Services organize these events?
That's part of our bread and butter, really, is fundraising mechanisms. All of our events, we go and get a local host organization, and they provide a lot of the staffing when it comes to the actual event on site. But in return, we let them keep a significant portion of the revenue that the event brings into town. So it's kind of like one hand kind of washes the other there. We support them, they support us. It creates a really nice relationship between us and them. And we're kind of known as one of the best fundraisers because there can be a lot of revenue generated at these events for these organizations. That's very important to make sure that their players have the nicest jerseys, all the gym time or field time that they need, and all the funding that they need, which is an extremely important thing in our business.
Absolutely. Really incredible work that you guys are doing. And I want to make sure we talk a little bit more, too, about what you do outside of athletic events. So there's other services that you offer. Can you share some of that with us?
Yes, as I mentioned, we do offer some educational services. In particular, we have one extension company called Trusted Coaches, and it's just right off the name says. We provide the risk management, I guess, aspect to providing organizations, not only from a youth standpoint, but high school and even a wider spectrum, to give background checks for coaches and also training and even educational services for them, so to make sure that they have the best well-rounded coaching for each program. One other aspect we just started doing is working with recruiting services. Obviously, as athletes start progressing through their teenage years, recruiting is an element that is prevalent in many sports. So what we've started to do is work in recruiting seminars at some of our tournaments, in particular our fast pitch tournaments, to make sure the parents and athletes and even coaches are more equipped of knowledge with the whole aspect of recruiting, what to look for, and what the best way to get the most out of it.
Wow, that's a lot. That's a mouthful, but
It is.
it's a lot
It
that
is.
you're doing. Now, your title is Director of Business Development.
Yes.
Kyle, what does that mean specifically?
Well, it's a little bit of everything. Really, the main thing is I handle all the marketing initiatives, branding initiatives, but also program development as well. So whether it's looking to add new leagues, athletic events to our portfolio, we look to do so. So we tend to, in the past, we've partnered with former administrators that ran tournaments that were kind of, because it's usually on the side time outside their regular jobs. It became too much of a burden, so we find ways to help them out and kind of take over some of the bigger burdens of that. But then also setting up sponsorships for our events. As we mentioned, athletic events that we run, obviously we have simple costs like referees and field rental. We usually set up sponsorship to have them go back into the community, whether it be through Parks and Recs to the field rental or for those referees and officials.
Wow, when those sponsors are much needed to keep events going.
Absolutely.
We could probably talk to you for half an hour, but I want to make sure in the 30 seconds or so we have left that we touch a little bit on the events that you've done, some of the bigger ones.
Yeah, some of the notable events. Some of those would know us with the Badgerland State Basketball Championships. That's a 4th through 8th grade boys and girls event. It's very large. We put that all over the state. We get teams coming in from all over the state. The goal there is to create equal levels of participation and competition throughout the entire tournament itself. Outside of that, our Badgerland Baseball Championships is another big one. We really focus on the experience element to that. It's not just a standalone tournament. We bring them to Miller Park, in fact, and actually give them their awards around home plate. So just tying some of those things in, we try to create an experience along with every event that we run. Outside of those, we do run 2 state championships for USSSA softball. That's fast pitch softball, basically high school ages down through about 10 and under. So those would be the biggest ones, but we're hoping to create some much bigger events in the future too as well.
Woo! Did you get all that? That's a lot. You guys are incredible. If you didn't get all that, I encourage you to visit the website that's listed on the screen because these guys are doing fabulous work. Thank you so much for being here again. This is Kyle and Lance with Wisconsin Sports Services. I want to thank all of our guests for joining us today on Talk of the Town. Thank you for watching. Please join us next time.